Welcome to the one-stop shop for all your Borderlands farming needs. This is going to be the Borderlands 2 Ultimate Farming Guide. Anything you wanted to farm, you're going to be able to find it in here. This chapter-based system, you're going to be able to go back and forth. It's going to be crazy. I hope you're ready for it. But before we get started, I'd like to thank a few people. I'd like to thank Approaching Nirvana for the music in this video. Their information will be in the description. And also like to thank Mr. Yoteslayer himself. Unfortunately, Yoteslayer passed away a few years ago, but he brought the first Ultimate Farming Guide that I watched to YouTube, but it was in individual parts, and I thought it'd be much better if it was in one video. But unfortunately, he can't do that, so I decided to bring it to you. So, this one's for him, and let's get on to the chapters. Hope you enjoy. Here's the first gun in the Borderlands 2 Ultimate Farming Guide. We've got the HORNET. The HORNET, it drops from a boss named Knuckledragger, which he is located in the Windshear Waste. To get him to spawn, you need to do or be on the mission Blindsided by Claptrap, where Claptrap steals his eye. And it does decent damage. It's got some corrode, so we can see, let's see how it works. We're over here in the target range, so we'll just, it's got a good scope on it. The scope changes from gun to gun though, so it does some pretty serious damage, and then it has some good corrode. So let's go see how to get it. Alright, so here's where you show up if you take the fast travel to Claptrap's place, which is where we're going to find Knuckledragger. If we look at the map here, what we're going to want to do is we're going to want to run down here, and he is right in this area here. There's actually two ways to farm him. I will show you the second way right after we get there. So let's head on over. And now he's dead. So that way is kind of inefficient. Ooh, we got the Widowmaker. Because you have to run all the way in. There's a really quite easy way to do it. And it's, if you just head up here, you have to have this door unlocked, which is pretty early in the game. If you just load up Southern Shelf, and then you turn around and enter back in, this will set your spawn point to here. So every time you save and quit, he will be right in here. He won't spawn right now because I just left the area and came back. So yeah, if we save and quit, he would be right here. So there's the HORNET. On to the next gun. Now we've got the KERBLASTER. The KERBLASTER drops from Midgmong in Southern Shelf Bay. The mission you have to be on or have completed is Symbiosis, and you get that from Hammerlock. So let's see how this gun looks against our little target practice here. Zoom in, it shoots some crazy rockets, does some mad damage. Let's go find out how to get it. Alright, so first things first, you need to fast travel to the southern shelf, which there's the station, and then you need to run down here and around, and we need to enter the southern shelf bay, which is right here. This is a little bit of a longer run. I don't think this is the faster way to do it. So all you have to do is just, I'll show you on the map here. You gotta run across here, and he spawns in up here. So let's go for a little walk, eh? Alright, and he spawns just right up here. Just right up these stairs here. Might have already jumped down though. There he is. Mission accomplished. On to the next one. First grenade mod, so here's the bonus package. The bonus package drops from Boom and Boom in the southern shelf, and you have to be on or have completed the best minion ever mission from Claptrap. It's pretty hard to miss these guys. So let's just see what this looks like. Chuck one in there with our buddy, and look at that, it killed me. So let's go see how to find this deadly grenade mod. So after that last run, I decided to throw on a shield, just so we don't die anymore. But to get the bonus package, what we're going to do is fast travel here to Liarsburg. And if we look at our map, we are going to run up here and in around here, and they Boom and Boom are right in here. So let's go take them out. And here we are. So there, right there, I'm just gonna try and kill him with this grenade. That was pretty close. I almost didn't kill him with the grenade. So we didn't take out Big Bertha yet, but this one is actually kind of cool because you get to fight them twice. Because I'm just gonna do that. Yeah, Boom and Boom both have a chance to drop it. So that makes the farming run a little bit nicer. Let's go on to the next one. Now we have the Thunderball Fists. They drop from Captain Flint, who's in the southern shelf as well. And it's also from the best minion ever mission from Claptrap. It's just further on in the mission. So let's see what this does against our nice little target practice here. Does some crazy shock damage and then shoots up a ball and comes back down and hits him again. Pretty awesome. Let's go find it. Alright, back at the same spawn point again, but this time we're going to be heading a little farther to Captain Flint for the Thunderball fists. So this one can actually be done in conjunction. I'll just show you on the map where we need to go. You need to head up here, and Flint ends up spawning up here, I believe it is. Somewhere in one of these areas here. But I believe it's there. This one can be done in conjunction with Boom and Boom. As you will see, we're going to be running by them. So, let's head on over. As you can see, that was quite a long run. So this one's a little annoying to farm, but Captain Flint spawns right up there. So we'll just wait for him to jump down so his stuff doesn't go everywhere. You know what? Let's just take him out. I don't even care. So, yeah, these guns are pretty good, but unfortunate the amount of time you have to spend running. But, hey, on to the next one. Next up is my favorite legendary in the game, the Unkempt Herald. The Unkempt Herald drops from Savage Lee in the Three Horns Divide, and for this one you don't need any mission, he's just there as soon as you can access the area. So let's see what makes this gun so good. If we just shoot this guy, it shoots out actually like a spread of bullets and they do tons of damage. As you can see, those high numbers, there was 1.3 mil there. Let's go find it. Alright, so we're coming to the Three Horns Divide to get the Unkempt Herald. There's actually two spots to farm him. There's this spot right here, and also it's this spot down here. He should spawn right in about there. This one, as you'll see on my mini-map, if there is red dots in that area, that means he's spawned there. And he will also spawn at the other spot, but this spot up here isn't as common. But, luckily enough, I got him this time. And so, you have 2 shots to kill this guy as well. So, he is right here, getting beat on by Bully Mongs. There. He is now dead. And so now we can run back through here. We pick up a car and go for a little ride. Let's go for the fast car. Alright, and he should spawn right in here. There he is back there. The one trick with this gun is shoot the ground. So there's the Unkempt Herald. On to the next one. Another pretty awesome gun here in the Infinity. This one only has a magazine size of 1, and you will see in a minute why that is. To get this one, you need to fight Doc Mercy, who's in the Three Horns Valley, and the mission you need to do is called Medical Mystery, and you get that from Dr. Zed. It's a few missions in, so make sure you just keep asking him what he needs you to do, and you'll end up finding this one. So, that one magazine, that'd be annoying if you had to reload it every time, right? This one you don't. You just fire it all you want. Everywhere, infinite bullets. Pretty amazing. Let's go find out where you get it. So once you have the prerequisites for this mission done and you have the fast travel station open for Three Horns Valley, we'll head there. And this one's actually kind of interesting. You can run all the way around to get to him, or you can take a little jump on this thing and just hold forward and you'll land up here and he spawns right there, which makes for a ridiculously quick farm. Hey, on to the next one. Alright, here we are with the Emperor, which you can get from Oni, Watt, Wreath, or Roof, the 4 assassins from Southpaw, Steam, and Power. The mission you need is assassinate the assassins, and you get that from the Sanctuary bounty board. So we're back at our little target practice friend. Let's see what this one does. So hip fire, it sprays pretty good, and it's a burst fire. Zoom in, and it also does slag, which does really help later on in the game. So let's go find where to get this gun. Alright, for the Emperor, we're going to fast travel to Southpaw, Steam, and Power. There's multiple ways that you can do this, but personally, I would only recommend farming the first one, and that's what I've heard from other people too, because it takes way too long to get to the rest of the assassins to make it worth it. This guy spawns in right here once the store decides to open, and there he is. So you just kill that guy and you get the Emperor. No way we just got the drop. Perfect. On to the next one. Alright, we're here with the Hellfire, which you get from Scorch in Frostburn Canyon. The mission is the cult following false idols, and you get that from Incinerator Clayton. And let's try this thing out. It's pretty cool. It's got that spinning disc. If you watch, it spins faster. It does some pretty good fire damage. And it's fully automatic both ways. It's hip fire and zoomed in. So let's go find this gun. For the Hellfire, we're going to head to the Frostburn Canyon. Run this way. And we're going to run on the map. We're going to run down here, through here, and Scorch spawns in right there. So let's head on over there. Alright, and Scorch is just up around this corner here. There he is. Look at that, he's really resisting that that fire damage. There we go. I can't see anything, so let's move on to the next one. For our first rocket launcher, we got the Pyrophobia. The Pyrophobia you can get from Incinerator Clayton in Frostburn Canyon, and you need to finish all of the cult following missions. So let's try this little baby out on our target practice guy here. Stand back. It does some serious damage with a working scope. I hope you noticed that. So let's go find this gun. Alright, for the Pyrophobia, we're going to be back in the Frostburn Canyon. We're gonna run all the way up here. I'm just gonna show you, this is a long farming run. You gotta run all the way around here, down, over here, up, and he's right here. So, I'm gonna go for a little walk. Alright, he's just right down here. Ooh. A Luke Goliath. So Incinerator Clayton is right there. And now he's dead. Alright, on to the next one. For the first shield, we got our NEOGENATOR. This one you get from fighting Spyco, I think that's how you say it, in Frostburn Canyon. And you get it from Monster Mash number 3, part 3 from Dr. Zed. I can't really show you this shield too much. I'll show you when I'm running over there. But it's got some good elemental resistance, and it matches the elemental of the last damage received. So if you get attacked by fire, you get fire resistance and stuff like that. And it also gives you lots of max health. As you can see, it's regenerating my max health like crazy, and I have way more max health now. So let's go find the shield. To farm the NEOGENATOR, we're going to be here in Frostburn Canyon for the final time. We're going to go up and around here, go under here. Scorch is right there, but instead we're going to run by him and head up these stairs, and he should be right in here. It'll be the spawn point. So let's head over there. Alright, as you can see, whoa. There's a secret chest right there. I went and stopped at Scorch there. Man, there's a lot of guys here all of a sudden. I stopped at Scorch just to show you, you can easily combo these two runs. And then you can hopefully get both of them in one go, which would be pretty nice, eh? So on to the next one. For this next set of guns, they come from relatively the same place, so we're gonna put them both together right here. So we got the VERUC, which comes from Mowgli in the Dust, and it comes from the mission The Good, the Bad, the Mordecai from the Sanctuary Bounty Board. So let's try this thing out. It's an assault rifle. Fires kind of sporadically. That could be a few of my skills too. And it's burst fire when you zoom in. Just straight up burst fire. It's just a good solid machine gun. So let's switch over to the other gun we've got, the LYUDA. So here's the LYUDA. Interesting fact about this one, if you're playing on the Xbox 360, I'm not sure about the Xbox One, it will be called the White Death. I think that sounds kind of cooler, but whatever. So you get this one from GETTLE in the dust on the same mission, The Good, the Bad, the Mordecai from the Sanctuary Bounty Board. This one's a sniper rifle with, mine has shock damage. And it's actually like an automatic sniper rifle, which is kind of crazy. It costs a lot because sniper bullets aren't cheap and you can't carry too many, but it's pretty good. So let's go find both those guns. Alright, to farm the VERUC or the LYUDA / White Death, you come to the dust, and we're going to be taking a car. So I'll show you first. We're actually headed here, to this area here. So you can walk, there is a path that goes up here and up there. Or you could take a car this way, and there's a little jumping, a little bit of tricky jumping that you can do to get up there. So the car way is way faster. But hey, if you want to go for a nice little stroll, it's completely up to you. So if you head right over here, all you have to do is get out, wait for the crazy blue lines to disappear. Have your car get right in your way. And once you get up on this platform here, you have to dodge random explosions. The other good part about this one is there's a weapon chest right here that you can open up. So, Mobley for the VERUC will spawn right here. And then GETTLE will fly out of the sky and spawn right there. Pretty easy to farm both of them. On to the next one. These next two legendaries come down to a choice you made. You can only get one. So, let's see which choice you want to make. This one's called the MAGGIE. The MAGGIE comes from Mick Zafford in the dust, and it's when you take the Hodunk side on the clan war mission from Ellie. So the MAGGIE fires as fast as you can pull the trigger. So it's pretty awesome. You can really fire this thing. So that's pretty awesome. So let's switch over to the other side and see what you could get if you chose the opposite side on the mission. So here's the SLAGGA. The SLAGGA comes from Tector and Jimbo Hodunk, and it's if you chose the Zafford side in the clan war mission from Ellie. They do show up both in the dust. And the SLAGGA is a pretty awesome SMG. It's got a 99 round clip. And again, it fires slag bullets, as mentioned by its name, which really help later on. So the choice is up to you. Let's go find out where to get both of them. Alright, to farm the MAGGIE or the SLAGGA, you're going to want to come to the dust, and we're going to jump in a car because we've got to travel all the way across here over to this spot right here. Further on in the game, you'll get an exit to Lynchwood, which is a place, and that will make this farming way easier. But as of right now, you may or may not have it, so I'm going to show you from the beginning how to make it all the way over there. Alright, and here we are, the train station. So, on this side, we will have Mick Zafford and his Zafford Grunts, who will drop the MAGGIE. And on this side, we'll have Jimbo and Tector Hodunk to farm the SLAGGA. So, it's completely up to you which one you want. Just make sure you choose right. And a little tip, if you do have Lynchwood unlocked. Just go through there and then come back out, and every time you save and quit, you'll respawn right here, so you don't have to come back across the world, which makes it a lot quicker. So, on to the next one. Next up, we got the Hammer Buster. And the Hammer Buster you get from McNally in the dust. To get McNally to spawn, you need to accept the mission The Bane, which actually is a random, there's like a little echo device that spawns in Sanctuary that you're gonna have to do the mission for. So, it's an assault rifle. It's a single shot assault rifle. Quite accurate. It does a lot of damage. Like, it's one of the highest assault rifle damages out of any legendary. But it's single shot. So, let's go find this gun. Farming the Hammer Buster is actually pretty easy. You come over to the dust, we're gonna jump in a car, and we're gonna head down here, and McNally spawns right in there, this area down here. So, let's head on over there quick. Alright, and there he is, just walking out. Let's take him out with his gun. Might as well, right? We didn't get it. Oh well. On to the next one. Alright, next in line is the NUKEM. You get the NUKEM from the Black Queen in the dust, and the Black Queen is actually a random spawn. There is no quest needed before or anything to get her to spawn. You just have to be able to get into the dust, and sometimes she'll be there, sometimes she won't. So, let's see what this gun does. It's got a crazy aiming reticle. What did you think it was gonna do? It was called the NUKEM. Of course it launches a nuke. Let's go find it. So, farming for the NUKEM. To get the Black Queen to spawn, random spawns, kind of difficult. She does spawn all the way back in this corner here. So what you can do is you can take this path up here and fight the spider ants. There's a lot of people that say a bunch of different things, but I will link him in the description. Slayer. Unfortunately, he passed away. He's an amazing Borderlands player. He has proven it this way. If we take that same shortcut that we took to farm for the VERUC and the LYUDA, there is a way we can get her to spawn. So, we're gonna try this. We'll see how it works. And if she's not there, I will just cut until I get her to spawn. So let's head on over. So what you have to do once you get here is you can kill these two guys, because why not, right? But I'm not going to. You have to drop into the ravine back here so that you hit the checkpoint to spawn the next area. So you have to jump down here, and then if you watch in the top right, there will be a little checkpoint thing, and she will spawn back there. Looks like she's not there. I'll do a quick little run up to check, but by the looks of it, she's not here. So I can just keep doing this until she spawns. Yeah, she would be right in here. Alright, so I'll be back in just 1 sec once she spawns. And there we are, the Black Queen has spawned. That was my 4th try, so it does work. We'll just head on over there and pop her a nuke. Perfect. So it's not too bad. It's not as easy to farm as some of the other guns, but it's possible. So let's move on to the next one. Alright, the next one is the Stormfront. And you can get this from Lee, Mike, Dan, or Ralph, who happen to be the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, if you didn't catch on yet. And they are in the Bloodshot Stronghold. The mission that you have to get them to spawn with is the Splinter Group, and it's given out by Tannis. So let's see this homing Stormfront. Mine's a homing version, so shouldn't miss. But let's see what it does. I missed. There we go. Shoots out a crazy Tesla grenade with points all over, and it just does mad damage. That did a ridiculous amount of damage to that guy. So, let's go meet them Ninja Turtles. Alright, we're here in the Bloodshot Stronghold to farm the Stormfront grenade mod from the Ninja Rats. To get there, you need to go up here, and then you have to jump down and go underneath into the sewer, and then you follow this path and end up in this circle room. That's where we want to be to farm these guys. So let's head on over there. Once we drop down here, there should be some nice little rats. Now these guys spawn in a funny position. They only spawn one at a time. So when this is a higher level, they're not going to be one shot, of course. And they all, they'll take most of their damage. And then they'll hide, and then they'll all come out at the end together. So that's where all four of them spawn. Let's move on to the next gun. Next up, we got the Baby Maker. The Baby Maker drops from Madame von Bartlesby in the Tundra Express, and you have to be doing, or have completed, You Are Cordially Invited Party Prep by Tiny Tina. This used to drop from Mad Dog, but it is no longer that case. It now drops from Madame von Bartlesby. So, the Baby Maker, normal SMG, right? And then you reload it, and boom. But you see that? It actually spawns a second one once it explodes. And interesting stat, it spawns it pink and blue in relation to the amount of boy and girl births in the United States. From what I've heard, maybe that's not true, maybe it's just random, but that would be kind of cool if it was true. But see, there's like a pink effect there. So let's go party prep. To farm for the Baby Maker, you're going to come to the Tundra Express, and that's just the regular one, not the farmhouse link. And we're gonna check out the map, and we're gonna run up here. Then you have to run around this little thing. There's a little path here, and Madame von Bartlesby spawns right up here. So let's head on over there. Alright, right up here. She should be. There she is, all blue like. And there we go. It's as easy as that. Except for all these other guys. But hey, they're not too bad. let's move on to the next one. Alright, and now we're on to the first time that a boss has had a chance to drop 2 items in this series. We're at the Rolling Thunder, which drops from Wilhelm at the end of the line, and the mission is a train to catch from Roland. And he also drops the Logan's gun, which we'll look at next. But first, let's see this Rolling Thunder. If we chuck one of those in there, it just creates a big explosion. Luckily I had that shield on that time, so I didn't die. So let's take a look at the Logan's gun. And here it is, the Logan's gun, which again drops from Wilhelm at the end of the line. And the mission is a train to catch from Roland. This gun, normal pistol, looks pretty cool though. Does some mad fire damage. It also has an extra explosion there. So it's almost like I don't know whether you've ever played Halo, but it's like the Needler, kind of. You put a lot of bullets in and then they explode. So, not bad. But let's go fight Wilhelm and see if we can't get both the drops. Okay, so farming for Wilhelm for the Logan's gun and the Rolling Thunder, what you have to do is you have to spawn in at the Tundra Express there, and then make your way across up here. You come in over there and then up here, up the ladder, and we have to go to the end of the line, which is just up here. Up this nice little ramp. And once we're in here, we have to make our way over here, just past this fast travel station. Wilhelm spawns right in there. So let's head on over. Alright, and he's right up here. He just spawns right there. This is the first big boss in the game. And he has a chance to drop both the Rolling Thunder, which is this one here, which just causes a lot of havoc. It is generally amazing. And this gun, the Logan's gun here, which, I don't know that you noticed, but with the SHAM can regenerate rockets. I'll show you the SHAM later. On to the next gun. Next up is the GUB. The GUB drops from Laney White in the fridge, and the mission is Cold Shoulder by Scooter. And the GUB has a ridiculous magazine, 110. It's got decent sight on my version. Does some decent damage. It's fully automatic, but it's pretty slow. If you see it going faster there, it's because of one of Zero's skills. So, let's go find Laney White. When farming for the GUB, you're going to want to come to the fridge. All we have to do, it's not very far, you just come out here and Laney White should spawn right about there. So let's head over there. And there she is. Pop. Well, that was easy. On to the next one. Now we have the GUNERANG. The GUNERANG drops from Rackman in the fridge, and it's on the same mission as the last one, Cold Shoulder from Scooter. Let's see what this GUNERANG can do. Weird that it's got the name GUNERANG, doesn't it? Oh. Maybe it's because it bounces around like crazy. Look at it go. They just bounce. Throw it this way. Hard to tell where it's gonna go, isn't it? Kind of fun though. Let's go find Mr. Rackman. To get the GUNERANG, you're gonna have to farm Rackman. And Rackman, to get to him, you have to go down past Laney White and all the way up here. Follow this path up here, and then you have to go up an elevator, which is right here, and then you'll get, and he spawns right about there. So let's head over there. Alright, so right up this nice little elevator here, the Rackman should be here. Which, if you don't know what it's referencing yet, he's up in a little cave and everything. The Rack Cave, yeah, it's Mr. Batman. There he is, a little glitched out. And now he's dead. So let's move on to the next one. The final gun available in the fridge is a Borderlands classic, SLEDGE'S shotgun. This was actually in the first game, and that's what the red text, "The Legend Lives," is referencing. So, to get SLEDGE'S shotgun, you have to fight Smashhead in the fridge. And the mission is Note for Self Person, and it drops from a random Goliath. So you just defeat Goliaths in the fridge, and I believe it just drops from any random one. There is one spot that is a little more prevalent with Goliaths, I guess prevalent works. I will show you that spot when we're out farming it. So let's see what kind of damage this thing does. It shoots a lot really quick, as you can see there, which is very, very similar to the original gun. The original gun only had 2 bullets in it, so it's pretty cool. But let's head on over to the fridge and see if we can't find it. So to find the mission for SLEDGE'S shotgun, it usually drops from that guy right there. So just to show you where we are on the map, just right over here. So you come out of the spawn and you head up here, and he usually spawns right in there. So that's where I got it from. I don't know if that's where everybody gets it from, but that's where I got it from. Now let's go back and show you how to farm it. So now you know where the mission is. Let's figure out where Mr. Smashhead spawns. So we're in the fridge again. We're gonna head up. We actually just ran by him in the last segment. But you come down past Laney White again, and you end up, he's in this room right here. But to get him to spawn is a little tricky. So let's go see how we do that. Alright, now that we're out here, he's in the Crystal Claw pit. What we actually have to do is you have to come over to this chest. And that's him right there. But he's frozen. So if we open the chest, it'll give us stuff and smash out with the spawn. It's kind of like a win-win, right? And he'll drop a decent amount of stuff as well. Including a purple weapon. What? Alright, on to the next one. Alright, next up is the Striker. The Striker comes from Old Slappy, who's in the Highlands Outwash. To get him to spawn, you're going to need the mission Slap Happy from Sir Hammerlock. And let's test this thing out. Pretty accurate hipfire. Doesn't normally shoot as fast as Zero makes it shoot, but, you know, fairly accurate. Does it a little bit long range? I hit him with one of them. It's pretty good. So let's go see if we can find where to get it. For the Striker, you're going to want to come to the Highlands Outwash here. And we're going to want to switch over to the map, and we're going to head over here, and Old Slappy spawns right in this area here. So, let's head on over there. Alright, and he spawns right down in here. So we jump down, and there he is right there. You gotta wait for this intro sequence of him, you know, like, oh, look at me, I'm fancy. And then he'll pop up again, and you pop him in the face, and well, it's probably going to be a little more difficult because I wouldn't imagine you're going for these on low levels. That's just a silly thing to do. But anyways, on to the next one. So next up we got the Cradle here. The Cradle comes from Henry, who's in the Highlands Overlook or near it, and the mission, you're gonna have to kill a bunch of stalkers because it's a random stalker drop from the Highlands area, and it's called the Best Mother's Day Ever. And once you finish that, you'll fight Henry. So this is a shield, and it says when the shield is depleted, it is disposed of with explosive results. So I pulled out the Logan's gun. Let's see. I don't know whether you caught that. We'll do this to just heal up a little bit. Throw some stuff at him. Look at all those pretty colors. So we'll just stand over here. If you look at, there goes the shield, and then it explodes. So it's pretty cool. It does another crazy explosion thing. I don't know what that sound is. So it's like a Nova shield, but I don't know, it launches itself a bit. Let's go see if we can find it. When farming for the Cradle, you're going to want to come to the Highlands Overlook, and it's actually a really quick farm. What you're going to do is you're just basically going to run this way and jump down, and Henry spawns right here. So if we just run straight over here, and there he is. Whoa, that was kind of weird. I guess he was doing some kind of weird intro effect, but whatever, that's as easy as farming Henry is. That's all you have to do. On to the next one. Next up, we got a pretty cool gun, if I do say so myself. It's called the Longbow. You get it from a creeper in the Caustic Caverns. It's just they're always there, it's a little Easter egg, it's kind of cool. And I'll show you, it's got some pretty interesting effects. So it's a reference to Minecraft. I don't know whether you ever played Minecraft, but if you look, it actually shoots the Minecraft arrows, and it's affected by gravity and stuff. So that's pretty awesome. So let's go see if we can't kill some creepers. And to farm the longbow, we have to come to the caustic caverns. What we're going to have to do is just run up this way, follow this path, and then we'll jump across here and head down, and it's actually right up in here that the Easter egg is. So this is going to be a long little run, so sit back and enjoy.
Do not leave cases or parcels unattended anywhere on the station. Any unattended articles are likely to be removed.
Alright, we're almost at the Easter egg here, so all you gotta do is you gotta come over here, jump up here, jump around this corner, and there's that all too familiar Minecraft dirt. And then all you gotta do is just melee your way through. Dirt takes 2 smashes to break. And we walk around this corner, we got stone, which takes 3. So it takes a little while to get in here. And you'll find some creepers inside that I'm pretty sure just reskinned exploders, but it's pretty cool. Anyways, let's take some out with the longbow, so it's like we're actually playing Minecraft. And there is a ton of skins that will drop in here, just so you know. So we're looking. I think it can drop from any creeper, but there's one big guy in particular that usually drops it. So we just got a bunch of heads and stuff, like this Creeper Slayer head this time, and let's see what we can get up to in the next one. Next up, we got a crazy shield called the Fabled Tortoise. You get the Fabled Tortoise from Blue in the Caustic Caverns, and the mission is safe and sound from Moxie. The crazy thing about the tortoise is it has mine at least has a 2.4 million capacity in it, but it comes with a cost. It makes you really slow, but well, it's active. What if you get shot by a bunch of guys? Oh, I can get lifted in the ground by these things. Or lifted into the ground, lifted in the air. So, once the shield actually finally depletes, which takes a long time, you die. But you actually move faster than normal. So let's see if we can't crawl our way over to Blue and get ourselves one of these. Alright, to farm Blue for the Fabled Tortoise, all you gotta do is run up here, and you have to jump across this stuff here, and then he spawns in back here. So let's go get him. For the other runs I was wearing the shield, but for this one it would just take too darn long if I was wearing that shield.
I know you're a monster.
Alright, and blue is right out here. Actually, just gonna put on the infinity quick because it's just gonna be quicker. And then, easiest way to kill these chrysalises and big blue here, shoot out those little things on their legs, and they just drop. This one's a little annoying because when blue drops all its stuff, it explodes. So make sure you fully check everywhere, because stuff goes every direction and all that nonsense. So on to the next one, I guess. Next up we got the Deliverance. The Deliverance drops from Tumba in the Wildlife Exploitation Preserve, and Tumba is a random spawn, along with Pimon, who drops a shield, which will be up next. And it's a pretty good Lion King reference. I'm pretty happy that they included that. So let's see. Hip fire with this gun does fire damage, which is pretty good. It's got a lot of bullets, and I don't know whether you noticed, but most guns, when you toss them, they go in random lines. This one goes perfectly straight and then curves because it's kind of homing, which is amazing. So let's just show the transformer as well before we head out. So here we got the transformer, which drops from Pimon, as I just said, who is a random spawn in the Wildlife Exploitation Preserve. The transformer is a pretty awesome shield. Mine grants immunity to electrocution. I'm not sure if all of them do that, but it's got an absorb chance, a low absorb chance, and it's got a good capacity. Like a low absorb chance, I say. It's still 26%. It says there's more than your eye can see. Crazy, eh? Pretty cool looking. So let's head on out and see if we can't find both of these. Alright, to farm both the Transformer and the Deliverance, what we're going to do is we're going to come to the Wildlife Exploitation Preserve, and we're going to run through this area. We're going to head up here through this there's a nasty section right in here, and they should spawn right in this area. If you have the Natural Selection Annex right there, it makes really easy farming. This is one that you have to pay for, an extra map that you have to pay for. But if you're going to be farming these and you have a little bit extra cash, I recommend it. It cuts the time down drastically, as you will see.
I just want to go back.
Alright, and if they spawn this round, they should be right up here, which it doesn't look like they did. Who's this? This is just Pupskag. Yeah, Pupskag. So they would be right out here if they did spawn. So I'm gonna head into the natural selection annex right here, and we will. Look at that. Isn't that amazing? I'm gonna head in here and we'll reset the spawn. And I'm gonna come back once they've spawned out front here. so see you in 1 sec. Alright, so they are both out here. We got Pimon right there, and there's Toomba. And look at that. We got ourselves a Deliverance. That's the second drop of this second drop of this this farming guide. Pretty awesome. So let's move on to the next one. Next up we got the Skullmasher. The Skullmasher drops from the Son of Mothrak in the Wildlife Exploitation Preserve. And to get him to spawn, you need to complete the mission Wildlife Preservation from Roland. Cool thing about the Son of Mothrak is Mr. Mothrak himself was in the first game, and he was pretty nasty to fight. So we got to fight the son in this one, but the Mothrak, his dad, was definitely much better of a fighter. So let's see what this can do. This sniper here. Take aim. Look, it shoots. It's not a crazy gun. It shoots. As far as I know, there's nothing too special about this gun. It's just a really good sniper. So if you need a sniper, try and get this one. And I'm going to show you how it's done right through this next doorway. Alright, to farm the Skullmasher, what you're going to want to do is you'll spawn at the Wildlife Exploitation Preserve back here, and you want to follow the same path that we did for the Transformer and the Deliverance. So you just run up through here and you end up here. And if you have this, it cuts the time in half. It is really helpful to have this for farming in this area. So what we're going to do now is continue on. So if you don't have it, you can just run up here. And then we got to continue on through here. And then we got to run down this way. And up around here through this big area, through that door, through over here. And he spawns in there. So it's a ridiculously long run. For this area, you'll need to defeat the enemies in here too, to get this door to open, which is kind of annoying. Apparently this area you'll need to defeat some enemies as well. But they all come in running towards you and they're not that difficult, so it's fine. Yeah, there we go. Alright, and here we are. All we have to do now is just drop down here, and the Son of Mothrak should come greet us. There he is. Snipe. And because the game is nice, it actually throws the weapons back in for us. Perfect. So on to the next one. Alright, next up we got the okay, well, Huh. It drops from Bunker, who's in the bunker, and the mission is where angels feel fear to tread, and that you get that from Roland. So, not sure why I can't seem to say that there, but weird, eh? So it's just a solid SMG. Big clip, fast reload. Mine's slag version. Really, like, when you hip fire, it gets way more accurate. Like, you can just unload those criticals. Looks like they have a drop shadow. They're going so quick. So, the bunker also drops a shield. So I'm going to show you that one right now. And that shield is the SHAM. The SHAM is the one I've been using this entire time. It's an amazing, amazing shield. And again, Bunker drops it at the bunker. And the mission is where angels fear to tread. And you get that from Roland. The big thing about the SHAM is this absorb chance. I've seen it even higher than that before. Up to 90s, like low 90s kind of thing. And it just makes it so you can't get hurt. Like, I should have died there, but it absorbs most of it. Though, I'm not quite sure why the Logan's gun absorbs the rockets. That's pretty cool, because pistol ammo is a lot cheaper than rocket ammo. But all the other, if you watch the other episodes, I've been running along and things have just been shooting me and I get their ammo. That's basically what an absorb shield does, is you get their ammo. So let's go fight this bunker guy. To farm the bunker, what you want to do is you want to come to 1,000 cuts. And I would recommend doing this on the lowest playthrough difficulty you can do, this first section. Because you're going to run up here, through all this crazy area, and you end up traveling here. Map exit to the bunker there. And the reason why you do this on a low playthrough is because then you can just walk through and then you can change your playthrough once you get to that other spot. So meet you over there. Alright, so you can see why I said do that on normal, because that's a lot of guys to fight through, and there's some pretty tough ones there that you don't want to die to. So now that we're in the bunker, I'm actually just gonna throw on, oh never mind, I don't have my herald with me. Put it away, because the herald demolishes the bunker. But all you gotta do is you gotta run up here and run around some more. These little bumps can definitely mess with you at some points and you land on the edge. But here comes the bunker. Hear him shooting out his grenades. There he is right there. The annoying thing about the bunker is no matter where you take his health down. So see, he has no health. Like I can't damage him anymore. But I have to wait. You have to wait for him to move. And these things will spawn every time you hit him. Or kill one of his cannons, I think it is. Wherever you are. And so now you have to wait for him to come up the middle, which he does whenever you get him down to no health, his next location will be this one here. But he won't die unless he's in that location. So it makes it a little annoying. But it's not too bad. It's doable because he drops a ton of loot. Like, I recommend just farming this guy for anything. Weapons aren't doing enough. Just take this guy at once. I don't know where that thing is. But as you can see, there's lots of loot here. And he also drops a bunch of good stuff up here. So don't forget about this part here. So, we're gonna move on to the next ones. Alright, next up we got the Madhouse. The Madhouse drops some Mad Dog and Lynchwood, and the mission you need to do is Raking the Bank, and it comes from the Lynchwood bounty board. This is a crazy assault rifle. First of all, we got that lock-on thing, but check this out. Ah, bouncing bullets everywhere. So that makes it pretty sweet. And it's got a 118 round mag. You can't really top that, can you? So let's go find where to get it. To farm the Madhouse, what you're gonna have to do is come to Lynchwood. And once you're here, if you run out these doors here, there's a pretty nice little exit. But on the map, we'll show you. What you gotta do is you gotta run all the way down here, and then you gotta run up this ramp, and Madhouse will be right, or Mad Dog, sorry, will be right in here. So let's head on over there. Just right up around this corner here. Should be running across there. Yeah, there he is. Jumps down. And we'll take him out. Alright, on to the next gun. Alright, next up we got another rocket launcher. This one's named the Mongol. We get it from Dukino's mom at Lynchwood, and the mission is Demon Hunter, and it comes from the Sanctuary bounty board. So, this is actually a returning weapon from Borderlands 1 as well. And let's see what it does. So, this Mongol, you can shoot it, and it actually, when it hits, it creates a big explosion and then spawns smaller rockets. I can't really, it's kind of hard to show in here. But I will show it once we get out fighting Dukino's mom. Which, why don't we go do that right now? To farm for the Mongol, you're going to have to come to Lynchwood, and we're going to head roughly the same path as Mad Dog, except all we have to do is just run in, and Dukino's mom will be down in this area. So let's do that. Alright, and here we are. There she is. Let's see, yeah, one rocket. Perfect. And all the loot stays in a nice little area here. Perfect. On to the next one. Next up we got another shield. This one's called the Black Hole. You get the Black Hole from Foreman Jasper in playthrough 1 or Foreman Rusty in playthrough 2 or 3. He shows up in Opportunity, and the mission is Hell Hath No Fury from Moxie. The cool thing about this one is when the shield is depleted, it sucks everything in towards you and then makes a huge shock nova. So let's go find that Foreman. He should be right over here. Now that we're here in Opportunity, let's find that foreman named Jasper in this instance, or Rusty if you're in the next playthrough. To find him, you're going to need to run up through this area. This map is kind of crazy, so you got to run through here, and then you just run straight up here, and he will be right in this area here. It's pretty easy. The map makes it look more complicated. And you should be right up here. Right there. Perfect. I don't know what those floating things are, but it's kind of funny. Anyways, let's go check out the next one. Alright, the next one we got here is the BADABOOM. You get the BADABOOM from King Mong in the Iridium Blight, and King Mong is actually a random spawn, so there's no mission to activate him spawning. So let's see what this thing does. Sweet scope, and it fires a heck of a lot of stuff. Pretty cool. Let's go find Mr. King Mong. To farm for the BADABOOM and King Mong, we're actually going to come to the Arid Nexus Boneyard because it's got a good exit here. Because King Mong actually there's two different areas he can spawn, and he's a random spawn, so he doesn't always show up. But this one is a pretty quick way. You do have to have this area unlocked though. So all you gotta do is just come up here and he should be around the corner. And voila, there's Mr. King Mong himself. And then he does this crazy jump and you pick him out of the air and it looks all funny. Perfect. So now let me just show you quick, if you don't have this area unlocked, what you can do. Alternatively, you can come to the Iridium Blight fast travel location, and what we can do is jump in a car, head down here, and he has a chance to spawn right there. The other spawn point was way over here, so you can actually hit them both in the same run. You have a chance, very little chance, but you do have a chance to get him twice in one run, which is pretty awesome. So if he did spawn, he would have spawned right over here. And you can tell because he spawns before anybody else. And it doesn't look like he did spawn. So, you can try that way, or you can try the other way. I recommend the other way. It's a lot faster. Anyways, let's move on to the next one. Wow. Next up, we got the Pandemic. The Pandemic is a grenade mod that drops from Mortar in the Sawtooth Cauldron. The mission you need is Toil and Trouble, and it comes from Brick. So let's test out what this thing can do. It says Spread the Sickness. Let's toss one of those in there. And look at that. It shoots crazy corrosive things flying around everywhere and corrodes everything. It fits the Pandemic name. So let's go see if we can find one. Now we're over in Sawtooth Cauldron looking for Mr. Mortar and his Pandemic grenade mod. So what we're gonna have to do is we're gonna have to run up, and then we end up jumping off of here and going back underneath, and he spawns in underneath this area here. So I can just show you that if we run over here and follow my footsteps. Alright, so he should be right up. Move. He'll be right up around this corner. Right there. That's almost it, but not quite. So let's go on to the next one. Alright, this next one's also a personal favorite of mine, as with many other Borderlands players. It's called the B Shield. The B Shield you get from Hunter Hellquist in the Arid Nexus Boneyard, and you need to do the This Just In mission from Mordecai. So I actually do not have this equipped right now, because I just want to show you something. I have the SHAM equipped. So if we take this Infinity, it's generally doing 286k damage. So now, if we swap this out, if we grab the B, which has amp damage plus 0 amp shot drain, that's the big thing, and we start shooting, it's now doing 972k. So as long as you have full shield, it will add a ridiculous amount of damage on. So this is a good one to have. So let's go grab it. With our B shield equipped, we're now looking for Hunter Hellquist, who drops the B shield, so we can have 2. Why not, right? It's always nice to have 2 of everything. So what we're gonna do is just gonna jump quick in a car. And he's actually just right in that building there, so I'm not gonna show you on the map. So let's just drive on over there. Okay, that was a long ride. Almost didn't make it. Now you pull this thing. And once you get up to the top here, what you're gonna have to do is press this button and he's right behind the door. Boom. Sometimes he takes a little bit, and a lot of his drops actually go in here, but you can just jump up and check him out. Just like that. Whoa. Alright. Let's move on to the next one. Next up, we got another sniper. It's called the Invader. You get the Invader from an enemy called Saturn in the Arid Nexus Badlands. And for Saturn, all you have to do is you have to be able to get to the Arid Nexus Badlands. He is there. So, let's see. This sniper, what can it do? It's a burst fire sniper. Pretty crazy, eh? Single shot from the hip. Crazy burst fire when you zoom in. So yeah, let's go pick one of these up. We're over here now in the Arid Nexus Badlands looking for Mr. Saturn and his Invader. So what you're gonna have to do is you're gonna have to run this way, go up through this area, and then you run across, and Saturn spawns right on top of there, and you can get him down into this area to fight him. So let's head on over there. Alright, and when you enter this area, there should be a large explosion. And there's Mr. Saturn. So let's just run over here. If you run under the bridge, he will jump down. Then all his loot falls down here and you don't have to climb up every time. And let's quick scope him, because, you know, it's a sniper. What else am I supposed to do? And there's all his loot. Pretty easy, right? He's a lot more difficult if you're actually fighting him. Let's move on to the crazy ones now. Next up, we got a whole list of items. They all come from the Warrior in the Vault of the Warrior. And the mission you need to have done or are doing is Talon of God, and you get that one from Mordecai. So there's a total of 5 weapons that drop from this guy. This one being the first one is the Conference Call. This is definitely a fan favorite. It's a shotgun that fires a lot of bullets really quick. It also, if you get, see how it's hitting the side of the wall there? At a certain range, it spreads out and it just starts firing like all directions. It's kind of crazy. So let's move on to the next warrior gun, and that will be the FLAKKER. Alright, so here's the FLAKKER. This is the one that you get when you're trying to get the conference call, because this one's not nearly as good. But you get it the same way. You get it from the warrior in the Vault of the Warrior, and you have to have the mission Talon of God from Mordecai. You have to be doing that, or you have to have finished it. So let's see. This has a sweet little accuracy of 1. So as you can see, I missed. It shoots just a heck of a lot of explosions everywhere. It's extremely difficult to kill anything with this gun, because I can't even hit this guy 2 feet in front of me. So, yeah, let's just leave it at that. This isn't very good. We'll move on to the next one, the VOLCANO. Next up in the list of warrior guns is the VOLCANO, which is a pretty sweet sniper. So if you haven't heard, it drops from the warrior in the Vault of the Warrior, and the mission you need to be on or have completed is the Talon of God from Mordecai. This gun, when you shoot, does lots of fire damage, which is pretty cool. It's pretty awesome. Does a good amount of damage, but it's just a pretty normal sniper rifle. So we're gonna move on to the grenade mod called the LEECH. Here we are with the LEECH. The LEECH drops from the warrior in the Vault of the Warrior, and you have to be on or have completed the Talon of God mission from Mordecai, if you haven't heard that before. So this one, pretty cool. Mine's a sticky longbow version, and caustic, which is pretty cool. So let's check one at this guy, see what it does. Looks kind of like the Pandemic, but all of the extra explosions work their way back around to sticking back on him. And then they just sit there and slowly explode again. So that's pretty sweet. That'd be great against some armored enemies. So let's take a look at the final thing you can get from the warrior, and that's a shield called the Impaler. Here's the Impaler. The Impaler drops from the warrior in the Vault of the Warrior on the mission Talon of God from Mordecai. You either have to have completed the mission or be currently doing it. And the Impaler says Vlad would be proud, because it's a spike damage shield. So when somebody shoots you, it launches out homing spikes, and in this case they're corrosive homing spikes, and they do damage to whoever shoots you, which is pretty awesome. It has a good capacity, and it does quite a lot of spike damage. So let's go grab all of these weapons from the warrior. So to get to the Vault of the Warrior, what you're gonna have to do is you're gonna have to come in and spawn in at Heroes Pass, and we're gonna have to travel all the way down Heroes Pass, and there's the exit. So I'm gonna do a little bit of running.
Alright, and the exit's just right up here, and if you actually run this area quick enough, which I recommend doing it on normal, again, like the bunker run, you won't have to fight that constructor that shows up, which is pretty awesome. You just gotta make sure you keep moving, and it doesn't actually have enough time to travel across the map. And there's a treasure chest there for your reward of running through it, I guess. I don't know. So now we're in the Vault of the Warrior. Got a little bit of running to do still. It's a lot of time to get to this guy. So you just gotta run down here and you fight the warrior down here.
Who are you today? You'll be okay. You'll be oh.
Alright, and right here there's a nice little station. This is where you will respawn if you save and quit. Now that it's activated, make sure you walk up to it. It probably activates from back here, but it's probably better to be safe than sorry, even though you only spawn back there. Oh well. So let's take them on. I've got, I'll put on the Impaler. I just liked having the other one on so I could, you know, run through everybody there and it wouldn't do too much damage. So all you gotta do to get him to spawn is once you cross this little line right here, he spawns. And there he's down at the conference call. But what he's gotta do is he's gotta go under the lava. He's gonna come right back up. Any moment now, Mr. Warrior. Too close or something? Yeah, I was. Okay. So, you can't rush him that hard, apparently. You gotta give him a second. And then we got a little bit of a loot explosion. And it's funny because I played this game on PS3 and this part was so laggy. It was insane. And then boom. That's the explosion that your legendaries will be in. And make sure you check all the way around. It's very nice of Gearbox to make his body to go back into the lava because I don't know how many legendaries I've lost to being stuck inside of his body. You could see them underneath, but you couldn't reach them. And so there's tons of loot here. A great way to you know, level up right before you start the next playthrough. Gain some serious loot before you start the next playthrough. You know, any of that stuff. This is one of the best.
Next up, we get two weapons from Terramorphous the Invincible. So the first raid boss in the game. This one's called the Pitchfork, and you get a drop from Terramorphous in Terramorphous Peak, and the mission is You Will Die Seriously, and you get it from Tanis. So there's actually two things that this guy will drop. Three, I guess. There's three that he will drop. One of which being a class mod, but he always drops that, so I didn't really include that. So yes, let's check out this Pitchfork. It actually shoots. I don't know if you saw that. It shoots like 5 wide. Can we get a better view of it if we go over here? Shoot. Yeah. So it shoots kind of like the Herald, but it's a sniper. And so if you're really close to somebody, that'd do a ton of damage. So let's take a look at the shield that Terramorphous drops. So here's the shield that you can get from Terramorphous at Terramorphous Peak on the mission, or after the mission, You Will Die Seriously, that you get from Tanis. This one is called the Hide of Terramorphous. And as you can see, it does a lot of things. It does roid damage when it's depleted. it does nova damage when it's depleted, and it also does spike damage when it's shot. So, and this version actually grants immunity to corrode damage as well, just in case you wanted a little bit more. So it's actually got a pretty low capacity compared to the other shields we've looked at. I guess it's average kind of thing. But this shield, you almost want it to be empty quite frequently, so you can do the bonus damage and stuff like that. So those are the two from Terramorphous. Let's go take a look at what he looks like. To go find Mr. Terramorphous hiding in his Terramorphous peak, what we're gonna have to do is come to 1000 Cuts, and then you're gonna want to run over here, and you just have to drop down, and it's a little exit underneath. You actually have to go underneath the area there to get to it. So just follow the way I go, and you should make it there. Perfect, that wasn't too bad, was it? There's some guys in here. What you're gonna have to do is you have to place 8 iridium on that little pedestal there to get the area to open. And then once this thing opens, you've got a nice little exit to Terramorphous Peak. Perfect. Once we're here, it's a little bit of a run. It's not too bad though. That's where you'll spawn in when you save and quit though. And then you just gotta run across this bridge and run across the next bridge. Sure, kind of like weird little bridges that I don't even know how they're still saying. It's like boards just across a gap. You think the amount of times that I alone have walked across them, I'd probably break them. But we just head down here. Don't worry about fall damage. That was so Borderlands 1. They got rid of fall damage in this one because they're nice people. All you have to do now is head up to this gigantic horn. Looks pretty cool, and you summon them. If you watch over here, nice of them to give us a sniper so we can see. There he is, but you can't exactly shoot him from way back here. There's a good shot of the spread of this gun though. And there's one of the cult following things, but I don't know if that's actually one of them. It's a big vault logo though. So what I recommend you do for this one is do not stand over here, because he will knock you off the edge and it will be game over. And this is actually going to be probably the most fighting you'll have to see me do in any of these, because even when we're on normal mode, he spawns with this much health. Oh no, I ran out of ammo. What to do? Where is it? Let's never run out of ammo. Take him out with the infinity. I don't know, this seems like a pretty fantastic spot up here. I don't know about you. We gotta wait for him to pop back up. Put some bullets into him. His crit spots are those little circles on his head there. And there we go, he gives a pretty good loot explosion too. And this one already, it has a guaranteed legendary. And it's right there. It's usually one of the class mods. So like this, a Slayer of Terramorphous class mod for the assassin. Just pretty cool. You can get this one. You can also get a legendary class mod for your class. So that's it for Terramorphous. Didn't drop us any of our weapons that we wanted. Oh well. Let's head on to the next little bit. Alright, and here we are with the final 2 weapons in this guide. And this one is the Norfleet, arguably the best rocket launcher in the game. And it drops from Vermivorous, the Invincible. Vermivorous is the highest form of a Varkid. You know, sometimes Varkids will go, the larval Varkids will drop down into a pod and then they'll turn into an adult one. Well, there's a very low chance that it will work all the way up to Vermivorous. And I don't actually have any footage of me fighting Vermivorous because solo, I don't really have any other friends that play this on PC, but solo, in true Vault Hunter mode, there is a 0.042% chance that he spawns. So maybe down the line when I'm playing the Handsome Collection, I will be able to get him to spawn because there's a 1.68% chance that he spawns with 4 players. But as of right now, I do not have any footage, but I will for sure link Yote Slayer in the description, and he has footage of himself fighting Vermivorous, and he has a pretty good guide on how to get him to spawn. The best place to probably farm him is either in Caustic Caverns, there's a lot of Varkids there, or in the Tundra Express at the farmhouse. There's a lot of Varkids, that's where a lot of people fight him. So anyways, on to the Norfleet. Check this out. Yeah, you just witnessed the most amazing thing ever, and you didn't even realize it. I actually almost killed myself. So it shoots a bunch of rockets out, and they create little bubbles, and the bubbles do tons of damage, and it burns if you have the fire one and stuff like that. It's just, it does massive amounts of damage. So let's look at the grenade mod that comes along with it. The other item that will drop from Vermivorous is the Nasty Surprise. This one's corrosive, and it's a nasty surprise for sure. Let's check it out. Chuck one in there. It just spawns a bunch of child grenades out of nowhere, and then just does a bunch of damage. It's kind of cool to watch, actually, because you can just hit anywhere with it. That's probably gonna hurt me. And they just kind of appear. It's pretty cool. So let's go, I'll show you where to farm some Varkids. So we come over to the Tundra Express farmhouse. This is a good spot to find those Varkids. And if you don't have the fast travel location, all you gotta do is just run up here and it should activate. And then let's shoot the fuse box out and head up the stairs. I'll just show you what I mean. There's tons of Varkids out here. Let's just run around a little bit and we'll just see how many start following us. Like, look at that on the map already. And oh, there we go. So this is what you're looking for. You're looking for these pods, because when this is like them evolving. There's another one there. And then they will go into pods, and then those guys that went into pods will turn into more pods, and it turns into a crazy thing. This is an easy way to kill them all. If you just get mad, you just press that button. So there's that spot. Now let's head over to the other good spot, which I can just show you on camera here, because it's not that bad. We'll just head down to the Caustic Caverns. Caustic Caverns has a pretty good spot right off the bat. So both these spots, you don't exactly have to run far. This one, all you have to do is just open this this area up, and look at that. These guys are keen. I'll pop them. You actually do get more experience if you pop them there. So that's gonna be it for this this fancy little ultimate farming guide video. Hope you enjoyed. Let me know in the comments if you enjoyed this this craziness. It's been a lot of effort, but it's been fun. It's been a good project, and maybe I'll do one for the pre-sequel. I don't know if there's as much love for that game as this one, but hey, I enjoyed it, so let me know if you want to see that. And yeah, with that,
catch you in the next one.
Talk to you later, guys.
Bye-bye.